YouTube, it's Zoe at Hunt's Urban Prepsteaders, reporting from a very messy shed and a very messy allotment, to tell you the truth. And it's been a while. This would be allotment vlog number 12, and what happened? Well, life happened really. Things got, we had the school holidays, the summer school holidays, and everything got on top of me. I was managing to get up sort of late in the evenings to the allotment, and I was doing lots of work up here, but I just didn't have time to make a video as well as do the weeding and fit everything in, and I was only getting up here for like 3-4 hours. And I did film allotment vlog number 12, and then I accidentally deleted it while I was editing it, so that really just put me in a really crappy place. And then I think if you go back on my last allotment vlog, I'm saying about the wind. Well, that night my Belotti bean arch did blow down, and Belotti beans were not ready, and that really upset me. I felt really quite disheartened by that, and I managed to hold the blight off really until the tomatoes came through. And with the weather we've had, the tomatoes just weren't ripening and the blight just came back, and I put in a load of potatoes as well, which was really, I should have known better to not do that. But the potatoes, as they came up, got blight, so they had to be all dug up, so my Christmas potatoes were gone as well. And I got a bit overwhelmed with it all, and I felt a bit defeated and thought, I'm not really doing very well here. But I'm going to do like a little overlay, maybe at the beginning and at the end, and with a bit of music of all the different harvests we got, because now I'm looking back at it, we actually did really well for our first year. And now you should see the allotment. If you go back and look at allotment vlog number 11 and see how beautiful it was right at the beginning, best month, beginning of April, August, it was August, beginning of August, and how lovely and sunny it was, and everything was green. And today I'm up here and it's pouring with rain and it's stripped back. And the other thing that we did was I started to get into my head. I started to, you know, make notes of all the mistakes I'd made, and how I wanted to do things different. I got no brassicas this year, hardly at all, other than the kohlrabi, and the brassica house was just too small, and I knew that from the beginning, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I got about 2 cabbages out of it, a couple of tiny little broccoli. I think it was so hard to get in there. I got a red ant's nest in there that attacked me every time I got in there, and the I'm looking at it now, I'm looking over there at it, looking a bit sad. My Brussels sprouts, which there doesn't seem to be any Brussels sprouts on there. I think the slugs have literally gone up there and chomped each one as they were growing, so none of that. And this year has been one of the hardest years. I mean, even the expert growers have been saying, what a year. The weather has been all over the place, and we've had like a plague of slugs and snails, more than ever. Everyone's saying, where are they coming from? So that was great. But we've had loads of apples. The apple scab came back. It didn't look like I thought we had got rid of it, but we did get quite a lot of apple scab. But it's okay if you peel them. So I've managed to preserve a lot of like apple pie mixes and apple sauces. So I made loads of apple cider vinegar with the peels and stuff, which you can still use with the apple scab. It doesn't affect humans, but it just doesn't look great, and the apples don't store. The problem is, if you've got apple scab, they're not going to store well. You can't wrap them because they've already got that blemish on them, so they have to be used. And I've given a lot to the allotment to put towards the cider making, so hopefully I'll get a free glass of cider out of that. So that's good. And my pears are just coming through. Actually, wait there a second. These are our beautiful pears, and I've just picked the first lot of pears, so I'm going to be putting some on the side with these pears. I can't remember the name. I'll write it across the bottom when I found the name. They're like a dessert pear, and you have to let them really go, like you have to let them mature at home and go really quite soft. Actually, these have already got a bit of give in them. I think they are really ready. But I'm going to make pear butter, and I'm also going to I've been making loads of jams and jellies, and I've just filmed making a hedgerow jelly to go with my last video, which was the foraging of all the fruit that I foraged, or some of the fruit that I foraged. I've got loads. So I've made that, which I'm going to be cutting and putting together. And I'm going to use these in, I'm going to make a pear butter and a pear jam. I've got so many, they're all ready, and these are an absolute beautiful dessert pear, and I'm just going to be preserving them as they are as well in like a syrup, because they're fine for water bath canning. I've been getting into, for the first time, water bath. I'm still not really confident, but I'm just sort of starting to get into it. The rain's coming down now, and yeah, sorry, distracted by the rain. Getting into that, but we're going to look into investing I'm just not confident with soups and stuff. I've been putting them in the freezer, investing in a pressure canner for next year, because I've got big plans. I'm so eager now. I'm actually really excited to have utter chaos. I'll show you the allotment in a minute, and you're going to be like, oh, what happened? It looks like a bomb's hit it. It's terrible. It's wet. Everything's been dug up. There's just weeds everywhere, and I'm going to go no dig for most of it, as I just can't deal with all that digging, and the weeds just got to me in the end, just drove me mad. And with I also had quite a flare in the summer of my fibromyalgia. I wasn't eating as good as I normally do, and I got quite lazy, and summer holidays and everything, and my pain levels started to get higher, and I realised I need to try and have an allotment that I can still do on the times that I'm not as good as I normally am. I'm not keeping an eye on myself, so we're going to do that. So we've got loads of plans, and it's just chaos at the moment. I've got compost bins that need completely sorting, and weeding that needs doing, but I'm actually really excited to get this, for it to be this time of year. It's like a year now since we started, so it's like a year's anniversary since we started last year, and it's like we're back to square one. It's literally chaos. But I did, in the end, I ended up with loads of tomatoes still, and I've done tomato chutneys and tomato sauces out of them. I got some out of my garden, so that was really good. Hundreds of chilies. I've dried tons of chilies, and I've made like a chili and plum jam. I keep thinking about making like a sweet chili sauce, because I've still got so many of them. It's just having the time to also like be at home baking all the time, and with the jam pot on the go, like it's some hubble bubble pile and trouble, some kind of cauldron constantly on the go. Now I know where that comes from. It's this time of year, like people were probably just constantly over the top of great big pots trying to store all the food for the summer, for the winter I mean. So really, that's where we're at. Pears are ready. I'll take you over to the pear tree. I'm not going to show you loads of it because it's just absolute chaos, but you know, show you the good with the bad, and give you a little tour around and flip you around. Okay, so as you can see, welcome to chaos. Absolute chaos. Let's start in the corner. I'm going to be, I don't know what's happened there, somebody's dug that up. The rhubarb's all gone, and I've got that whole area to dig over, and I'm going to just cover it in manure and put the rhubarb to sleep. I'm not going to bring it in and force it. That just all seems a little bit too complicated to me, and this one was amazing and just grew up after being stomped on and having the shed built on top of it. So I really don't think rhubarb needs all that love. We're going to build like a cage for the fruit trees, because I put something in front of them, just didn't consider how big they were going to get. Problem number 2. We've got loads of carrots from the pots, and I've got some spring onions that have just popped up. Still got some parsnips. We did get some quite good corn as well, which was good. I've still got some of those in the freezer. They're my strawberries for next year, which I've just brought up here that I grew from seed. So we're going to relocate the strawberries from over there. Plum tree, we've got loads of plums. I made so many jams from the plums, and it turns out that I've got 2 plums on here. I've got a grafted on, this one here is grafted on to this one here, and this is like a green plum and this is a red plum, so that's a treat. The apples, we've been reading up on it, and we basically have to, I'm going to show you one of the apples so you can see what the apple scab is like. It's a real pain, and we've only got a couple left, but what we've got to do is strip back the leaves and trim back every part that looks slightly scabbed or spotted leaves like these, and treat every branch. So that's going to be fun, and make sure we get every single one of the fallen off the floor and treat it with like bicarb of soda and lime and stuff. So that's going to be fun. There's my old strawberry patch, which is going to be completely moved. I did get dahlias in the end, like autumn dahlias rather than actual. And this is the beautiful plum tree, which is now ready, and I've probably got about a month to use these. So I've just picked some of the bigger ones off so far to take home. Got a couple of pounds, and then I'll get some more after. As you can see, it's all like chaos. This is going to be where I put all my onions and garlic for the winter, my winter bay. I'll take you in the greenhouse, because it's the poly house, which we're going to strip back. As you can see, the leaking poly house, we're going to strip back and treat all the wood over the winter. We've got a little snail having an adventure up there, and this is what's left of my chilli plants. They've had it now. Just got a great big bunch of chilies left off them, and the tomatoes, which I've stripped back all the green ones. They're ready to go in the compost. I'm going to leave them for a week and do it. And that's pretty much it. I've just had some last of the courgettes off this one. Another beautiful dahlia. Look at that. And this bay at the back is now going to be for my brassicas. We were going to build a house around it, but I'm not. I'm just going to get some arches and nets so that I can move it, cloches, and I'm going to work with this great big patch this year. I can't put the potatoes and tomatoes back in there because of the blight. I'm not going to grow tomatoes outside up here next year because it's just spread it, and I'm going to put the potatoes in this bay there, or maybe this one, and we're just going to completely replant it. I have actually got some fennel that just popped up. It's looking beautiful. So I should hopefully get a couple of, it's gone to seed though, I'll hopefully get a couple of fennel bulbs off the bottom of it. And there's, look, I stripped back the artichoke, and it's come, this plant just does whatever it wants to do. And completely, all dead, pulled it all up, and this is the new one. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So that's really it, look at it. Chaos, but I'm so excited actually about the chaos. And the asparagus is all ready to, after its first year, ready to be trimmed back, and I'm going to weed it, put some manure over the top of it, and put it to sleep for the winter again as well. We had some lovely sunflowers, but like I say, I'm going to overlay, that's our new arch, which I'm going to grow my beans up next year, which will not blow away. And that's it. So thank you for watching. Just a quick catch up, and I'll start my diary again. I don't think I'm going to actually start the diary maybe till about January, where I'm going to start it sort of maybe just a couple of months and go through January and do a whole proper from the year, call it like my diary or something, and start from number 1. So stick with us. I'm still going to do loads of videos, stuff about what I'm doing at home with the preserving and stuff like that, and little catch-ups here. If something exciting happens and we manage to build something exciting, I'll come up with a new plan. And so thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and catch you next time. Bye.